Have you ever noticed that when everything is finally calm, your mind begins searching for a storm? What if the peace you have been desperately fighting for is the exact thing you are terrified to feel? If you have ever felt a quiet weekend turn into an unbearable weight of restlessness, if you have ever felt anxious simply because nothing dramatic is happening, this is for you. Most people do not realize that when you have spent a lifetime running, standing still feels incredibly dangerous. Stay until the end, because the final lesson may change the way you see this pain forever. 1. The addiction to urgency. Here is a truth few people want to face. We are taught that constant motion is the only way to exist. We fill our days with noise, with tasks, with an endless rush toward an imaginary finish line. Yet, when life finally grants us a moment of silence, instead of feeling relief, a strange, hollow panic sets in. You pick up your phone. You start organizing a room that is already clean. You replay old conversations, or you begin worrying about a future that has not even arrived. You feel a deep, unsettling itch within you. You wonder, what am I missing? What should I be doing right now? You have survived so much stress and chaos that your mind now believes struggle is the only way to be safe. Buddhist wisdom teaches us deeply about this unquiet mind. In Buddhist thought, this restlessness is not a sign that something is wrong with your life right now. It is simply the lingering momentum of your own attachments. You have become attached to the struggle. You have mistaken the absence of chaos for emptiness. Buddhism reminds us that true peace is not the elimination of all problems, but the cessation of the mind's constant, exhausting need to solve things that do not need solving. Imagine a boat that has been navigating a terrible, roaring storm for many days. The captain has been awake the entire time, gripping the wheel, fighting the massive waves, his heart pounding in his chest. Finally, the boat breaks through the dark clouds and enters a perfectly calm, quiet harbor. The water is like clear glass. The wind is completely still. But the captain's hands are still gripping the wheel, knuckles white. His heart is still racing. He looks at the calm water and feels terrified. He has forgotten how to be safe in the harbor. He only knows how to survive the storm. This is what happens within you. You have carried heavy burdens. You have navigated difficult relationships, intense pressure to succeed, and quiet personal battles. You have been the captain in the storm for a very long time. Now, when life gives you an ordinary quiet evening with no emergencies, your mind sounds the alarm. Your body is trying to rest, but your spirit is still bracing for impact. Ask yourself right now, what are you afraid will happen if you simply stop? Think about your own life. Are you chasing distractions just to avoid sitting alone with your own thoughts? Pause. Breathe. Notice the urge to move and choose not to follow it. Observe the restless feeling as if it was simply a dark cloud drifting across an infinite sky. Let the feeling rise without making it your identity. You do not have to chase every thought that demands your attention. You do not need to invent a problem just to feel useful, because peace is not something you must earn through constant exhaustion. It is a space you must learn to accept. But letting go of the need to rush is only the first step, and this is where the next truth begins. Because beneath this desperate need to keep moving is a fear waiting to be understood. 2. The fear of the quiet mind. What if the silence you are avoiding holds the exact healing you are searching for? Here is a truth that is difficult to sit with. When all the tasks are finished, when the work is done and the room is finally quiet, a deep discomfort begins to rise. We immediately reach for a distraction. We turn on a screen, we listen to a voice. We fill the empty space with anything but ourselves. You might think you are simply bored. You might tell yourself you just like to stay busy or entertained. But beneath that impulse is a profound fear. It is the fear of meeting your own mind, It is the fear of finally hearing the thoughts you have been drowning out all day. When you stop moving, the pain, the doubts, and the unresolved sorrows finally have a chance to speak. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that the mind in its natural state is already clear and peaceful. The suffering comes from our desperate attempts to avoid looking at what is really there. In Buddhism, the practice of mindfulness is not about emptying the mind by force. It is about gently sitting with whatever arises, without judgment and without running away. It reminds us that your thoughts cannot harm you unless you give them the power to do so. Imagine a deep forest lake. For years, you have been standing on the shore, throwing stones into the water. Every stone creates ripples, splashing and disturbing the surface. As long as you keep throwing stones, the water remains turbulent and muddy. You cannot see what is beneath the surface. One day, you decide to stop. You drop the stones. At first, the stillness is terrifying. Without the splashing, you suddenly see all the fallen leaves, the broken branches, and the dark debris floating in the water. You are tempted to pick up a stone again, just to hide the mess. But if you wait, if you simply allow the water to be still, the debris slowly sinks, the mud settles, and eventually, the lake becomes a perfect, still mirror, reflecting the quiet sky. In modern life, we throw stones into our minds every single day. We use endless scrolling to agitate the water. We use extra hours at work, forced conversations, and loud music to keep the surface muddy. We do this because we are afraid of seeing the debris of our own lives, the relationship that is struggling, the path that feels empty, the quiet loneliness of feeling disconnected. We keep throwing stones because we fear the reflection. Ask yourself, what are you truly running from when you refuse to sit in silence? Think about your own life. When the room goes quiet, what is the first thought that rushes in, and why does it make you want to flee? Stop fighting the quiet. Breathe. Let the silence hold you. When the uncomfortable thoughts rise, simply watch them. Let them float on the surface of your mind. You do not need to fix them. You do not need to answer them. Just let the mud settle on its own time. Because you cannot heal a pain you refuse to look at. And true peace is not found by running from yourself. But sitting still is incredibly hard when you have been taught that you must always be producing something to have value. And this is where the next truth begins. 3. The illusion of constant motion. What if the race you are running has no finish line and the prize is only exhaustion? Here is the truth about our modern lives that we rarely stop to question. We have been conditioned to believe that stillness equals laziness. We believe that if you are not building, fixing, earning, or moving forward, you are falling behind. You sit down to rest on a quiet afternoon, and instantly, a heavy wave of guilt washes over you. Your mind frantically scrolls through a mental checklist of chores, unread messages, and obligations. You feel you should be doing something. This crushing guilt forces you back into motion. You trade your inner peace for the temporary, hollow relief of feeling productive. You collapse into bed at night, emotionally exhausted, only to wake up and start the exact same cycle, hoping that one day you will finally do enough to earn the right to rest. But no matter how much you accomplish, the finish line keeps moving further away. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that this endless striving is a profound source of suffering. In Buddhist thought, there is a clear distinction between mindful action and blind momentum. We suffer because we attach our fundamental worth to what we produce rather than who we are. Buddhism reminds us of the beauty of non-attachment, not just letting go of material things, but letting go of the identity of the constant achiever. The universe is not a factory, and you are not a machine. Your existence is already complete. You do not need to constantly justify your breath with endless labor. Imagine a heavy wooden water wheel. built by human hands, placed in a rushing river. Its only purpose is to turn and grind grain. Day and night, the wheel spins, groaning under the weight of the water. But eventually, the harvest ends. The grain is gone. Yet, the wheel keeps spinning. It grinds nothing but empty air, wearing down its own gears, splintering its own wood, simply because it was built to never stop. In modern life, we have become that heavy wooden wheel. We feel the immense pressure to succeed, the fear of falling behind our peers, and the constant, quiet anxiety of comparison. We keep grinding even when our spirits are completely empty. We turn a peaceful evening into a frantic planning session for the next week. We take our hobbies and try to monetize them. We keep spinning the wheel, terrified of what will happen if we just let the water flow past us. Ask yourself, who are you when you are not producing anything? Think about your own life. Are you afraid that if you stop moving, people will realize you are not enough? Pause. Breathe. Look at your hands and realize they do not need to be holding anything right now. Release the tension in your shoulders. Give yourself permission to be completely still. Let that sink in. You do not have to earn your rest. You do not have to prove your right to exist today. Because true value is not measured by how fast you are running, but by how deeply you are living. But recognizing this illusion is only part of the journey. Because sometimes the reason we refuse to stop moving is not about chasing the future at all. It is about outrunning the past. And this is where the next truth begins. 4. The ghost of past chaos. What if the danger you are bracing for has already passed, but your mind has not yet realized you survived? Here is a quiet truth about living through difficult times. When you spend years navigating a heavy environment, a stressful season, a chaotic household, or a long period of uncertainty, your mind adapts to protect you. You learn to anticipate the next disaster. You learn to stay on edge, carefully waiting for the other shoe to drop. But when that difficult chapter finally closes, that defensive instinct does not simply vanish. You find yourself sitting in a perfectly safe, quiet room, yet you feel a heavy, unexplained dread in your chest. You are scanning the horizon for a storm that is no longer there. You are fighting the ghost of past chaos. Buddhist wisdom teaches us deeply about this lingering pain. In Buddhist thought, the mind carries the heavy momentum of our past experiences. The habits of fear and reaction you watered in the past are still blooming in your present mind. Buddhism reminds us that the past is impermanent. It is entirely an illusion that only exists in the way we cling to it today. When we allow the echoes of yesterday to dictate our present mood, we are voluntarily chaining ourselves to a phantom. We suffer because we are attached to an old version of our reality. Imagine a beautiful bird that has spent its entire life inside a small, cramped cage. Every day, the bird fluttered its wings, but only hit cold iron bars. It learned to expect the boundary. It learned that flight always ended in pain. Then, one day, the cage door is left wide open. The sky outside is vast, bright, and infinite. But the bird does not leave. It sits on its perch, trembling. It hops to the very edge of the open door, looks at the endless sky, and shrinks back inside. The physical cage is entirely gone, but the cage in the mind remains perfectly intact. We do this in our own lives every single day. We finally walk away from the draining job, but we still wake up with a knot in our stomach, expecting criticism. We leave behind a painful relationship, but we still over-explain ourselves to new friends, terrified of being misunderstood. We finally reach a quiet, stable chapter in our lives, but we still pace the floors with a sense of impending doom. The door is wide open, but we are still flying into the invisible iron bars of our past. Ask yourself, Are you fighting a battle that has already ended? Think about your own life. What heavy armor are you still wearing in a place where you are finally safe? Pause, breathe, look around your room, and remind yourself that you are safe in this exact moment. Let the armor fall. You do not have to keep protecting a version of yourself that no longer needs saving. You survived. The war is over. You can step out of the cage now, because peace requires you to accept that the present moment does not owe you another tragedy. But putting down that heavy armor requires a quiet, daunting kind of courage, because once you stop fighting the ghosts of yesterday, you finally have to sit with the person who is left behind. And this is where the next truth begins. 5. The art of sitting with yourself. What if the person you have spent your entire life running from is simply you? Here is the quiet truth that makes us so uncomfortable in the stillness. We know how to be a friend, a worker, a caretaker, or a problem solver. We are absolute experts at pouring our energy outward. But when all the external demands fade away for an evening, we are suddenly left alone in a room with our own existence. Without a task to complete, a distraction to focus on, or a crisis to manage, the silence forces us to face our own reflection, and often we do not know the stranger looking back at us. We feel a sudden hollow ache, believing that if we are not actively doing something for someone else, we are nothing at all. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that this feeling of emptiness is merely the illusion of the ego losing its grip. In Buddhist thought, we suffer because we attach our entire identity to our temporary roles, our daily actions, and our external achievements. When those things pause, the ego panics, convinced it is disappearing. But Buddhism reminds us that you are not your job, your worries, or your productivity. You are the quiet awareness that observes all of these things. Stripping away the noise does not leave you empty, it leaves you awake. Imagine a single candle burning in a very dark, drafty room. For a long time, the wind has been blowing fiercely through the cracks in the walls. The candle flame is constantly dancing, flickering wildly, bending and fighting just to stay lit in the relentless drafts. You become so used to this frantic, struggling flame that you begin to believe this is exactly how fire is supposed to look. Then, one day, the cracks are sealed. The room becomes completely still. Without the wind, the flame stops dancing. It burns straight up, completely silent and perfectly motionless. At first, you might think the fire has lost its energy, but in reality, the flame is finally burning, exactly as it was meant to, pure, bright, and unbroken by the wind. In modern life, we are that flickering flame. We let the winds of social media, the demands of our careers, family conflicts, and the expectations of others push us in 100 different directions. We believe our frantic multitasking and our daily stress is our true personality. When the wind of daily life finally stops, our inner stillness feels wrong. We feel like we have lost our spark. We do not know how to simply burn brightly in a quiet room without the chaos telling us which way to lean. Ask yourself, who are you when no one is asking anything of you? Think about your own life. Are you afraid that beneath all the rushing and the doing, there might be nothing left? Pause. Breathe. Let the drafts in your mind settle. Stop trying to find the next task to prove your worth. Sit with yourself and allow your flame to burn straight and steady. Observe the stillness without feeling the need to apologize for it. Because learning to simply be with yourself is the only way to truly heal. But to find lasting safety in that quiet space, you must fundamentally change your relationship with time itself. And this is where the next truth begins. 6. Making peace with the present moment. What if the present moment is not a waiting room for your real life to begin, but the only place you actually exist? Here is a quiet tragedy we rarely recognize. We spend the vast majority of our lives living in a state of perpetual anticipation. We wait for Friday. We wait for the stressful project to be finished. We wait for the right relationship, or for the day we finally feel financially secure. We treat today as a mere stepping stone, an annoying obstacle standing in the way of a better tomorrow. And when we finally reach a quiet evening where nothing is required of us, we cannot enjoy it. Our minds immediately jump to the next problem. We sit in the stillness, but mentally we are already miles away, trying to control the timing of a future that has not even arrived. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that this rejection of the present is the very root of our endless restlessness. In Buddhist thought, the future is entirely an illusion. It does not exist anywhere except in our imagination. When we refuse to accept the present moment, we are essentially fighting reality itself. Buddhism reminds us of the profound truth of mindfulness. You cannot find peace by endlessly planning for it. You can only find it by fully inhabiting the exact moment you are in, without wishing it were different. Imagine a great river flowing down from a high mountain, rushing toward the vast, distant ocean. The river does not stress about the ocean while it is winding through the valley. It does not try to rush past the rocks, nor does it lament the steep, dark canyons it must carve through. The water simply meets whatever is in front of it, shaping itself perfectly to the landscape of the present moment. It knows that moving with the current, rather than fighting it, is the only way it will ever reach the sea. In modern life, we desperately try to push the river. We manage the logistics of our daily survival as if we are negotiating a high-stakes corporate merger, treating our energy like a fragile spreadsheet where every quiet moment is calculated as a hidden cost or a lost investment. We treat our own lives like a restless empire that must constantly expand, convinced that if we stop marching and conquering our daily tasks, our entire world will collapse. We have forgotten how to simply flow. We are so obsessed with the destination that we completely ignore the water we are swimming in today. Ask yourself, what are you waiting for before you finally allow yourself to rest? Think about your own life. Are you treating your current reality as an enemy to be defeated rather than a space to be experienced? Pause, breathe. Bring your attention back to the exact physical space you are sitting in. Feel the quiet rhythm of your own breathing. Let the feeling of urgency rise and let it pass without making it your identity. Do your part in life, then release the outcome. You do not need to mentally solve tomorrow's problems today, because peace is not a distant prize awarded at the end of a lifetime of rushing. It is a quiet space. You enter the moment. You stop resisting exactly where you are. But to fully embrace this stillness, you must let go of a fundamental misconception about what it means to be secure. And this is where the next truth begins. 7. Redefining safety in stillness. What if the quiet you fear is not a trap, but a sanctuary? Here is a hard truth about learning to rest. When you have survived by being endlessly vigilant, peace feels deeply irresponsible. You have spent your life believing that safety is something you secure by constantly predicting the next disaster. If you are worrying, you feel protected. If you are planning, you feel armed. So, when life finally offers you a space where nothing is breaking and no one is demanding your immediate intervention, your mind refuses to stand down. You believe that if you let your guard down for even a single moment, everything you have built will immediately crumble. Buddhist wisdom teaches us a completely different definition of safety. In Buddhist thought, true refuge is never found by trying to control every possible external outcome. It is found by accepting the reality of impermanence. The physical world will always have friction. Circumstances will always shift. But Buddhism reminds us that constantly bracing for impact does not prevent the storm, it only ruins the clear day. We suffer because we mistake our exhausting anxiety for a protective shield. Imagine finally moving into a solid, beautiful house. After years of wandering and struggle, you step inside, and the rooms are perfectly quiet. The harsh weather is outside, and you are fully sheltered. But instead of sitting down to rest in the warmth of the living room, you spend every waking hour pacing the hallways. You knock on the walls, listening intently for hidden rot. You obsessively check the foundation for invisible cracks. You lay awake in the dark, calculating the inevitable costs of maintenance, terrified of the slow friction and decay that time might bring. You are so consumed by the endless upkeep of the structure that you never actually allow yourself to live in the home. You have taken a place of shelter and turned it into a heavy, relentless burden. We do exactly this within our daily lives. We finally reach a place of relative stability, but we treat our own peace of mind as a liability. We analyze our quiet relationships, searching for hidden conflicts. We look at our stable routines and worry about invisible traps. We manage our personal lives like an overextended ancient empire, constantly patrolling the borders, waiting for an invasion of problems that do not even exist. We are so used to the complex logistics of survival that we do not know how to simply reside quietly in the present moment. Ask yourself, what hidden disaster are you constantly searching for? Think about your own life. Are you tearing down the walls of your own peace just to find a problem you know how to fix? Pause, breathe. Stop tapping the walls of your life looking for cracks. Let the stillness surround you without constantly questioning its motives. Trust that if a real problem arises tomorrow, you will have the wisdom and the strength to handle it then. You do not need to fight battles that have not yet begun, because true safety is not the impossible guarantee that nothing will ever go wrong. It is the deep, unshakable trust in your ability to meet life exactly as it comes. But stepping fully into that trust requires one final, profound release. And this is where the final truth begins. 8. The freedom of simply being. What if the peace you have been fighting so hard to avoid is the only place you were ever meant to stay? Here is the final truth about the restlessness you carry. When you began this journey, you were looking at a quiet, empty room and seeing a profound threat. You believed that the absence of a storm meant something was deeply wrong. You have spent a lifetime bracing for impact, managing the logistics of your survival, and carrying the heavy armor of your past into spaces where you were already safe. You were convinced that if you simply sat still, the weight of your own existence would crush you. So, you kept moving. You kept searching for a problem to solve, a task to finish, a ghost to fight. But Buddhist wisdom teaches us that the highest form of freedom is not found in conquering the world around you. It is found in the complete and total surrender to the present moment. In Buddhist thought, suffering ends the moment you stop demanding that life be anything other than exactly what it is. You do not need to constantly earn your right to exist. You do not need to attach your identity to the heavy momentum of your past or the endless anxiety of your future. Buddhism reminds us that beneath the noise, beneath the panic, and beneath the exhaustion, there is a quiet, unbroken awareness that has always been completely whole. Imagine the vast, open sky above a mountain peak. Throughout the day, the sky experiences everything. Dark, violent storm clouds roll in with heavy winds. Thick fog settles over the peaks. Bright, warm sunlight pierces through. The weather is constantly changing, restless and dramatic. But the sky itself never panics. The sky does not try to hold onto the sunlight, nor does it try to push the storm clouds away faster than they are moving. The sky simply holds it all. It knows that no matter how dark the clouds become, the clouds are not the sky. They are simply passing through. Eventually, the weather breaks, the wind dies down, and the endless, quiet blue remains. In your own life, You have mistaken yourself for the weather. You believed you were the storm of your anxieties, the fog of your doubts, and the frantic lightning of your busy energy. You thought that if the weather stopped moving, you would cease to exist. But you are not the weather. You are the sky. You are the quiet, infinite space that holds all of these experiences. And when the storm finally passes, when the day is completely still, you do not need to create new clouds just to feel alive. Think about your own life right now. What are you still holding on to? What heavy burden can you finally put down today? Pause, breathe. Look at the quiet around you and realize it is not a trap. It is a gift. You no longer need to run from the silence. You no longer need to be the captain fighting a storm that has already passed, or the weary traveler tapping on the walls of your own shelter, looking for hidden flaws. You have survived the difficult chapters. You have navigated the long, hard roads. You have earned this stillness. Now, you must learn to simply live inside of it. Let the restlessness rise, watch it float across the open sky of your mind, and let it pass without following it. Let life meet you where you are, without requiring you to change it. If these lessons touched your heart, share this video with someone who may need a little more peace today. You can let go now.